Hi everyone, my name is Karen Reardon and I'm really excited today to share with you a little preview of something I've been working really hard on, designing a special ed yearly diary planner for teachers. So I suppose the idea came from the fact that I worked in special ed for 9 years and I keep seeing all these lovely class teacher planners coming available, and just felt that that was always something missing, especially when I was working in that particular role. So I have created something that hopefully will be very useful and very practical to help special ed teachers in their specific role in SEN, but also to link in with school life, school events, collaboration with class teachers, meetings and all of that. So I'm going to take you through a little preview of the planner itself. So here is the front cover. It's a really durable, hard laminate cover. Okay, so it's quite durable. I should mention that this is a prototype. Like straight away, I know that I want a white spiral. I want a white spiral bound there, and so that's something that's going to be changed. But pretty much everything else I'm really happy with. So the cover is quite durable. I'll just take you into the next page. So you have your contact information straight away, and I suppose I've scattered some nice quotes, educational quotes that mean a lot to me, having worked in special ed myself, so that might just brighten your day. So here we have the contents. So you can see the contents are, we have caseload, we have diary, meetings and other records. So what you have is color-coded sections around I suppose the main areas that you would need in your particular role. Next we have an overview of the year. So just, I know that I do lots of circling on this in our first staff meeting, the end of August or September. Just a reference document as well to the continuum of support. Obviously, that is one of the key things that you are considering in when you are working in SEN. So just to have a little reference page to that. We also have, so this is the beginning of the first section, so the caseload section. So what I decided to do then was, so you have your school support plus. I've got 2 lots of that. So again, depending on your school, you might decide you're just going to put initials. It's up to yourself, whatever the protocol is in your own school. So it's just the class, or the name, the class, whether the child has SNA access or not, the type of support. So that might be something as simple as literacy, numeracy, it could be emotional behavioral difficulties, it could be dyslexia, it could be autism, so any range of things. So maybe it might be best just to put the initials, and then a parent contact number as well. I find that, like, we use Aladdin in our school and it's super, but it's just another thing that you have to go to the computer, look up the name. So if you have it all here in one place, that's probably better. I put 2. I'm not sure how many people would be working with there's quite a few boxes there. But what I decided was, I know a lot of set teachers are working between 1 or 2 or even 3 schools. So that's why I put quite a few of those in there. The next section then is the literacy school support. So if you're anything like what I was doing, there's lots of initiatives going on, like literacy liftoff, guided reading, just early intervention programs you might be supporting with Ashter, and the focus is oral language. So I've put 2 pages of these in. So you can use Post-its over these. You don't necessarily have to write in, because I know groups are always changing as well. So I have the same for numeracy. You might be doing Matha Sarong, or if you're doing maths recovery. So any initiatives like that, Ready, Set, Go Maths, anything like that, you can have your groups in there. The next one is other school support. So you might be doing maybe social and emotional programs like Friends for Life, Weaving Wellbeing. So anything else like that, you might decide, it could be busy breaks, brain cam, anything like that around OT. So I suppose you've quite a few, quite a good area here for writing on there as well. There's lots of note pages scattered nearly after every section, but also after every month, because I suppose as I was going along, there's things coming up that you just might maybe want to jot down, like especially at the beginning of the planner, you know, for your first staff meeting. But I do have a section also for staff meeting. So now we're into the diary section. So here we have, so at the beginning of every term, I have 2 timetables, because I know that timetables can change 50 times. So you might decide, I'm just going to wait and change or write it in, you know, maybe mid-September when things have settled down a little bit. So what I used to find was I'd have one timetable up to the October break. We might have been doing literacy liftoff. And then the second, so this is my A and my B, I suppose. So this would be October then to Christmas. So for every start of every term, I have an A and a B planner as well. And it's very simple. So I would say maybe wait a week and a half or so until you've decided, made the changes, or write in pencil as well is a good idea. Okay. So the next one then we're on to, so I've just put in a week of August, the last week. I don't think any other schools can be back before then. So here you have just an overview of the month and just a little space for notes. So straight away, your first staff meeting, if you have Croke Park hours, that you might decide, you know, just put in there anything that's coming up towards the end of the month there, or that particular week. So I'm just going to show you the overview of a week then. This is August. So what you have is, just show you on the screen there. So you have obviously the week of, you have your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that spreads across 2 pages. Now, something that was really, really important for me was, I suppose, when you're doing your Kuntas at the end of the month and realizing, was a child in or out on a particular day. So you would be logging this every day. And also, I suppose we know that there's always huge interruptions to the timetable. Now, I used to just log those on one sheet, and then at times can't find the sheet, and I'm doing the Kuntas and I can't remember, did I actually take that literacy group, or was that child out for 2 or 3 days? So this is a really good way that you log it. You can have a quick flick back just in one space. So that's the idea behind that. So you have Monday all the way over to Friday. You have a little to-do list here. And then here, I suppose this is an important part, notes for LOAs. So LOAs is your log of actions. And I suppose that's a huge part of the role at the moment, where I suppose anything that comes up, a phone call to a parent, a phone call to a speech and language therapist or an OT, is really important to just jot down. Now, I would be suggesting that you're not putting down the ins and outs of the conversation of the phone call or whatever, or the meeting. But I definitely think it's just another little note to remind me to go. You might do log of actions on Aladdin, or you might handwrite them in your planning folder. But this is just a lovely spot here to make sure that, you know, remember to put in that I did have that phone call, or I did ring that parent, or liaise with that other professional. So that's a really that key point for that. There isn't a log of actions in this because I felt a lot of that is kind of, you know, information that would need to be in a filing cabinet probably. So you're just logging here now that there was a phone call, or there was an incident and you've reported it, and so on. Okay. So then we get into September, and again, you have your overview, and what's added in here then is CPD. So like, I know when I was in special ed, you know, there would be maybe things I did reading recovery for 8 years. So like I would log in there, reading recovery training on the 9th, once, whatever it is. So it's just one quick overview of the actual month as well. And again, you have your week then, and it just goes on like that. And then at the end of the month, you'll see that there is another notes page. So you can just log, so anything coming up during that month, you can just log it there as well. So it just goes on then through the months, and all the different months are color coded and slightly themed. For example, there you see Christmas. And also I have standardized, I suppose, the holidays, the standardized holidays marked as well on it as well. So it just goes through like that. And again, we're into term 2 there now. You can see your A and your B, and then your overview for your month in January. I think the first week back is just 3 days. And then it just goes on like that all the way. I should just say as well, bank holidays are logged as well. So you can just see the different colours there, I suppose, it's just here you can see for June you have your to-do and your summer course ideas as well. We're always thinking about those quite early on in June. And then July, I've put in a week for July if anyone's doing July provision. So you could do this maybe over 2 weeks, and it just left it blank because I know it's semi-structured and you might just want to log what you're doing each day. So your next section then, we are on to meetings. Okay, so huge part of the role of the special ed teacher is liaising with class teachers, principal, other special ed teachers in the school, other professionals, parents. So huge amount of collaboration going on. So I suppose a meeting section was hugely important here. So I'm starting off really with the IEP meetings. And again, I know that in my particular school anyway, that I go in with a blank page and maybe some of my assessment information and stuff like that, and then I just jot down. So here we have who was present, any of my observations, targets that were agreed upon, actions, who was going to do what, who's responsible for a particular target maybe, and then the review date. So generally in February we do those. So I have a couple of those. Again, you're probably going to take this information and put it in. You're not going to be sitting in the meeting with your laptop really. So I suppose this is just a one pager that kind of helps you jot down. I know I've come away, put something down, and then the piece of paper goes missing, and I'm frantically looking around for it. So again, this is just all together in one document. Also have special ed team meetings, that's quite important as well. So I've maybe 4 or so of those in, and again, I suppose you can photocopy if you need more. So that will be throughout the year. The next section is, and I kind of like this section, the Croke Park overview. So what happens in our school is that we get an email, to say this is what the Croke Park hours for each term. And quite often it's stuck in the email. I haven't had time to print it, or I've printed it and I forgot to collect it. And then, it's Thursday and I'm like, what have we got today? Is it staff meeting? Is it collaboration? Is it policy? And so on. So this is it, just the date and the focus. So staff meeting, collaboration, planning, policy, whatever it is, can all go in there. So just term 1, 2, and 3. And then I suppose for any staff meetings that you do have then, or CPD that you might do at whole staff level, just a quick jot down as well. And I suppose if it's anything more detailed, then if it's a longer CPD session, you might have PowerPoint notes to add in or write on as well. Okay, the next one then is a parent teacher meeting, and I suppose I kept this very short because basically if you're you might have had your IEP, so you might be meeting those School Support Plus children if you do your PTMs in November. But also here I suppose you can look at just having a quick jot down the priority learning need and so on, whatever it is. So I have a couple of those, and then the other professionals log. So that's really important. Again, you might jot down your phone call here. So notes for log of actions. So that's really important as well, that goes in there. This is what I need to add in. Okay, and then the priority learning needs. So that will just be determined, if it's a child in a wheelchair going to a standing frame and they're showing you a new way to do it, just log in so that everyone has it, and then that goes into your online log of actions if that's what you're using. So my last section then is, I suppose, what I've called other records. So I've got a list of useful websites for general resources, literacy, numeracy, and then specific SEN websites. And then I've just left a space for ones that you might like to add in yourself or that you come across during any CPD you engage in during the year. I thought this was a good one as well, just to jot down, have one page of your CPD record. So if you're attending a course in your local education centre, or if someone comes to the school or you get specific training, so just jotting down the date and who it was with. School events, even though I suppose if you're not in the classroom, I know as a set teacher as well that you have huge involvement in various school events that are going on, and I suppose school is very busy, as we know. So it's just this is just a one pager to jot down, Grandparents' Day, Active Schools Week, all of that, so that you can just jot that down and keep it in one spot. And that's it, just a little thank you for purchasing the planner and some credits. And so I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch the video. The planner is available for pre-order on my Shopify account, Primary Lessons with Karen, from Monday. And if you keep an eye out on my Instagram and Facebook page, I will give more details on that. I am sending an email to every school, just letting people know with the link to this video so that teachers can take the time and have a look and see, is it for them? I suppose I feel that it's something that was missing, and a lot of the larger educational companies kind of cater really for the class teacher, and there's quite a few special ed teachers out there as well. So I suppose I just had that in mind. So thanks for watching, and chat to you soon.